Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Burg, back with another episode of Go Giver Influencers Facebook Live. Today's episode is Influential Possibilities. And when I think of the term possibilities, well, the term itself obviously says it could happen. It might happen. It's possible. It could happen. No guarantee it will happen. There's no guarantee it won't. But I think that more important than the word itself is the person who sees the word possibility, okay, and how they understand it. Because there are some people who, when they hear, well, it's a possibility, yeah, I want to do this thing, I have a desire to do this thing, it's a possibility, it could happen. They kind of take that as, yeah, okay, it's a possibility, but whether it's going to happen or not, who knows? So what happens is the first time they come across something yucky, right? A no, or something that they mess up, or whatever it is, they quit because, well, it was only a possibility. There are other people, when they hear the word possibility, they think, okay, I can do it. Why can I do it? Because it's a possibility. It's possible. It's not impossible. It's possible. If it's possible, I can do it. And what that means is there's still going to be plenty of yucky stuff along the way. They're going to get a bunch of no's, a bunch of rejections, a lot of people who won't do this, won't do that, try and discourage them, and all those things. And it's not that it won't bother them. Of course it will. They're human beings. But they're going to keep going on despite that. Why? Because they're focused on the possibility. Because they're focused on that possibility, they have belief that it's going to happen. And because they have belief it's going to happen, they have confidence. And because they have confidence, they're just going to keep going till they get it. Why not? They're confident. They're confident in their belief because they know their belief is possible, which to them means it's going to happen. I don't know if people who are like that come by it necessarily naturally, or if they learn this. Maybe they didn't have it naturally, but maybe there was a mentor that inspired them and showed them the possibility. I don't know. I don't know which one our guest is, but maybe we'll find out. And that's who I want to introduce to you. Megan DiMartino is a self-described New York City girl living deep in the heart of Texas. Actually, she's also one of the awesome Austins I refer to, a group of Austin-based entrepreneurs who are just forces of nature in terms of building successful entrepreneurial type businesses and helping others obtain the type of success that they've attained. As a single mother, she founded and developed two revolutionary skincare lines, Glycolique and Novita Spa Clinicals. These result-oriented products have been sold through salons, spas, and medical spas since 1992. Her products are now available 24/7 around the globe via Amazon.com and directly at her site, of course. Megan launched her second $1 million business in 2005, the Novita Spa and Medical Rejuvenation Clinic on the historic Georgetown Square in Georgetown, just outside of Austin, Texas, and has consistently won Best of Georgetown since 2010. The spa's website is novitaspa.com. You can learn more about her 90-day quick start business, builder coaching program by emailing her directly at Megan, that's MEGAN, at novitaspa.com. Of course, Shannon will be doing her usual excellent, amazing job of including these URLs in the discussion window. Welcome, Megan.
Hello, Bob.
So which of those are you? Did you always just have that innate thing inside you that said, I can do this, it's possible I can do it? Or was that sort of developed and so forth? Which one for you?
I think it was that it is my innate being. Listening to you, I can think back to my mother and driving her crazy with that always over the horizon and that, hope and possibility. So yes, I think it's innately in me.
Okay, so Megan, we love hearing our guest stories, the backstories, because that says a lot about. Now, some guest backstories, I don't think the backstories are as important as their current story, because I know with me, what's my backstory? Former news guy, sales guy, speaker, author, blah, blah, blah. With you, it's different. Your backstory is really the story. So tell us, how did it begin for you? What was your journey? Because I know it's one of hope, it's one of courage, it's one of certainly possibility. Take us through it.
Well, basically, Bob, I grew up on Long Island outside of New York City, and New York City was a big part of my life. My folks loved Manhattan, ended up living there. So we would go in every Sunday, really, or often, and explore Manhattan. And as a creative, and that part of me has always been, I would lie in bed at night designing people's homes that I saw, and also down as time went on, my mother and I, she was a great seamstress. We would create together prom dresses and important, after 5 type of dresses and my wedding dress. And we would design, taking patterns apart. So I've always been creating, always knew I would do something in the fashion world. And I went to school for fashion and worked in that industry for several years. And my epiphany of creativeness started in Bloomingdale's in 1973 when I was working for a line that they had just brought in called Biba, which was a cosmetic line from London. So I was the assistant manager at 23 years of age for this line called Biba. And I said, someday I'm going to do this. Now, doing this, what did that really mean? I just meant that to myself that I was going to create something, and I loved helping people with their needs. So those two dynamics were very important to me because it combined that creativeness, but also helping. I then subsequently I married and had 2 children. And after the second child was born and we were living in Connecticut, I had no car and very little opportunity to make any income. And so one day, and this was another epiphany of my journey, but one day I was playing tennis and came across the grass and saw a group, and I'm innately curious. So I went over and it was a Tupperware party, and asked the woman, what did she make? Well, that's a recruiting question. She said, my manager will call you. The woman called me and met at my home and said managers like she received Ford LTD station wagons. Now I'm dating myself here with 73 and so forth, but I said, okay, I'll do this. And became a Tupperware in 6 months because you recruited 6 people and became a manager. And so I learned so much about sales, marketing, and building teams from that experience.
Can I stop you for a second?
Sure.
Okay. So usually with any type of direct sales company, people don't come up to them, prospects don't come up to them and ask for part of it. Usually they're prospecting and getting no's and getting no's and getting yeses, getting no, getting no's. But you're that kind of rare bird. You kind of wanted to know, okay, what are you doing? How much are you making? What's this about?
Exactly.
And so a little bit different than usual. Is that just kind of part of the Megan thing? The Megan mystique, you kind of see it and you're not going to wait till someone asks you. You're wanting to know what's the deal here.
Absolutely, Bob. Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting way to put it. But if I break down my life and my career path, it has been very, circumventing around and around. Not that one, I'm going to be a CPA and getting my degree and doing that. So it has been, really building from, and I would say if we had, and this will be in my book, by the way, but, many twists and turns based on, just life courses, i.e. getting married at a young age, having children at a young age, but never losing hope and that infinite possibilities of that dream of creating. So yeah, I am that rare bird. Yes.
Okay, so 6 months. It only took you 6 months to build the business to the point that where you got the car?
I started the day I sat at my kitchen table and said, because essentially I had no interest in selling plastic bowls, but because I had no car to do it first off, so I needed that car. So when she backed up and she said, okay, you become a consultant, you buy your kit, you become, a consultant, having consistent sales, and then recruiting 6 people, and you then become a manager. I said, okay, I'll be a manager, I'll do this. And that's really what I said. I started from the end in the beginning. So I started from the beginning building to be a manager. Yes.
Now, from there, you got a divorce.
Yes, I worked with the Tupperware Corporation for almost 4 years. And as I said, learned so very much about business and building a team and marketing. But I also knew that I was avoiding what I really needed to do, which was to get a divorce. So I brought my beloved car back, handed it, my keys in, and worked towards changing my life there. Yes.
Well, I don't
And
get it. You brought your car because there was one car. Then
no, meaning the Tupperware car. I knew I had to stop focusing on working in that structure.
Okay.
Yes.
So in other words, in Tupperware, as much as you liked the car and having
and doing it,
do it for you. So okay,
yes.
So what did you do then? Now becomes sort of that second part of the possibility.
Exactly, Bob. Well, I was living in Ridgeville, Connecticut, and I started commuting to Manhattan, and I was selling advertising space for an advertising company. And that was very difficult because I had 2 children and commuting to Manhattan. At the same time, my father, who was and one of your, questions was who influenced your life, and he truly was one of my great mentors and influencers. But he had a paper company, and one of the products he manufactured was NRAPs. If you ever had a perm, you would know what an NRAP was. And but he had also developed dental and medical laboratory divisions. So this is now the early 80s, and he asked me if I would come and develop products for the beauty division. But that meant I had to leave Connecticut and move to the eastern end of Long Island. And Long Island is long. And they were way far out on the eastern end of Long Island. And my yayas, as we call each other in Connecticut, were my rocks, and I had to leave them. But I knew it was the best thing for my children. And I also knew that it would give me the opportunity to learn the beauty industry. And what did I really want to do but create?
What are yayas?
My best girlfriends from Connecticut.
Okay.
Yes.
Women know that, I guess. I didn't know.
Yes.
Oh, wait, is that like the yaya sisterhood?
Yes, sisterhood. Right.
That means. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you moved out to East Long Island. Go ahead.
Yes.
You're working with your dad.
So he gave me projects to work on, but essentially he said, figure out, honestly, do all of it, R&D, put the product together, but it had to be paper, Bob, because they were paper converters. And so this is in the early 80s when the nail industry, acrylic nails, were beginning to happen. And I would go into salons and ask them what they needed in reference to paper. Now, perms were big in the 80s, so I had my NRAPs, would hand it to salons, and they were saying, well, if they were doing acrylic nails, they were destroying the terry towel. So I went back to the drawing board, went to my dad, said, let's develop a nail towel. And these salons told me what that needed to be: non-woven, absorbent, lint-free. And we put together the first nail towel for the beauty industry called the table towel. So I took it from, creative, but from before creative, that R&D, but market research really, and then put it together, did all the marketing, and then took it to market. And so I learned the wholesale beauty industry and national sales and marketing working for my dad.
Okay,
and
now let's take some of the disappointments, hardships, and stumbles along the way, because I know this is a big part of it. What happened next?
Well, basically, my father was retiring, and it was time for me to move on. And I was recruited to move to Fort Worth, Texas, and work for a division of Alcon Laboratories. And I took that job specifically because, again, paper, fabulous learning experience, but it was not very creative in reference to cosmetics or beauty products, which I said back in 1973 I was going to develop. So I interviewed for the job, was offered the job, and moved to Fort Worth, Texas in 1987. Now, when I was interviewed, I shared with them my vision of doing a skincare line, and they said, oh, sure, we'll do a skincare line. That's a great idea. Well, I worked with them from 87 to 91 and developed some lines for them, and no skincare. And so I decided it was time to move on. And but I learned a lot, and I was able to work with very sophisticated chemists and R&D, and discovered glycolic acid. So in 1992, I launched my first skincare line called Glycolique. And it was I guess, was a pioneer in glycolic acid alpha hydroxy skincare, launching in the wholesale beauty industry nationally. So I learned that structure through my dad's company, and then took that information and launched Glycolique. The problem was, Bob, I was very undercapitalized. And that's a very important part. Bootstrapping is one thing, but going out nationally is another thing. You really bootstrapping, and I was bootstrapping, but I was opening the door to a national situation. And Avon had just launched their single product called Anew in April of '92. And it, to this moment, is their most successful single product launch of their 130 or whatever years. Why? Because people saw a difference in their skin, i.e. result-oriented skincare. So when I launched Glycolique, very undercapitalized, it shot off like a rocket, but I was holding on to the flame, not the rocket. And so it built and built, and I struggled and struggled. But then I sold too much stock to a medical supply company, so I was not the majority stockholder. And these are the things I didn't understand, in business. I knew how to develop, I knew how to create, I knew how to market, I knew how to sell, but I did not know that business component. And so I did that, and it was doing well for a while, meaning the relationship, but then they decided that they wanted to sell it. Here, my baby was being sold to the lab that manufactured the products, and I had no say in it, really. And so contractually, I ran the division for this company. And then when that contract was finished, they came to me and said, "Do you want to buy it back?" I said, "Yes." And so I put the money together, and then they changed their mind and did what's called a hostile takeover. Yes. So I lost my baby, Glycolique, and but I did have an attorney, and I did get a settlement because what they did was not right. And so I was at a juncture and said, should I, do this again, or should I go on to something else? But in my heart of hearts, I knew that this is my life's work, my life's journey. And so that's when Novità was created. And Novità means,
okay,
yep, and that means new birth, new life, always something new in Italian. Right. So my chemist, who I had met at that lab, had started his own business, and we were working on re-engineering Glycolique because I was going to get it back. But when that happened, I just knew I needed to take the next step, and the rest would be revealed to me. And so in 1997, I launched Novità Spa clinical products and sold them through wholesale distributors, again, competing for a couple years with myself with Glycolique. And then Glycolique was no more. And then, but I put the spa word on the name Novità because I knew that someday I would do a spa and other things with that. So I trademarked Novità Spa.
So what does the person do, Megan, who is entrepreneurial? They know they have a dream. They know they see the possibilities. What's their first step, and what do they do when they see the blocks that come in the way? Because you've obviously, you were able to do that. You were able to do both.
I looked at some of the things we talked about in preparing for this segment, and I've given it a lot of thought, Bob, because my heart of hearts is to help other people, and not have some of the challenges. And honestly, one of the first things I would say is, first off, prepare, because I would never have been able to even withstand any of these challenges had I not had those 20 years of preparedness, meaning the Tupperware, working for WR Race and my family's business. I had that background, so I knew those portions of starting a business, but I didn't have that business background. And I also didn't have that mastermind So one of the things that I learned personally is you have to surround yourself with people with the skill set that you do not have, and seek that out. So it would be prepare and then surround yourself with people that can add and augment your dream and your hope and your possibilities.
So is that really what you're referring to when you talk about, I know when you coach, okay, because you're a coach now, and I love that, because I love when people who have really, they've been there, they've done that, they've had all the, again, the yucky stuff happen, and they've worked through it, and sometimes you had to make it up as you went along, and other times you were able to tap into the wisdom that you had learned about from yourself, from your experiences, and from others. So what you talk about when you coach about building that strong foundation, is that part of that, what you just said, the preparedness, but there's also more, I would imagine?
Well, absolutely. But, beginning is the most important thing. And, often entrepreneurs with that entrepreneurial spirit just jump out, just say, I'm going to do this, and this is my passion, and I'm going to do it. And absolutely have to have that. But it is really being prepared and knowing not only your market. So let me say this. Marketing 101 is to know who you are and what you are. So you can be, let's say, a dress designer, go to FIT, do great, design wonderful things. But so often people like myself with glycolique jump out. So I had preparedness, but I jumped out and didn't have the whole structure in place. And so I think that's what the possibility seeker is knowing that even though you fail, as Zig Ziglar says, that's an event. Was not me. So, or who I am. So it is about, but to, if you want to use the word succeed, is to have to know these various components. And yes, Bob, that's what I'm going to help with myself and my mastermind team to help people succeed.
Okay, so we've got a little bit more time left, Megan, and I want to take a look, since I was able to get back the
Oh, good.
First. Yeah, I wasn't able to see it. Now, fortunately, it came up, so I can see the people are on there. So hello, everyone. I'm sorry for not mentioning you by name. It just came back up a little while ago. But I'm looking to see if there's any questions. If anyone I see some nice comments about how inspiring you are, and I knew that would be the case. But if you have any questions from Megan, by all means, here's a great opportunity to ask her. Okay, so of the challenges you've had, and we may have discussed some of them already, but I don't think we talked about certainly a lot of them. What was the toughest one? What was that one that was just so heartbreaking? You said, this is where I want to give up. I'm not gonna, but this is where I want to. Was there one?
Oh, absolutely. But I would say, and I thought about that as well. There were many, personal and business. But I would say the most difficult one was that I had put so much energy and so much heart into building glycolique, and it really became quite a tour de force in the beauty industry.
And I can see your passion, by the way, as you're talking about it. I mean, I can tell.
Yeah. Oh, I'm reliving it as I'm speaking. Yes. And so when that happened, Bob, did I have it in me? Could I do it again? Was I able to muster up that passion that we're seeing? But what I realized, and this is why the word evolve to me is so important, because we all evolve. So we start from that, idea, that definite of purpose, but then we evolve. And so when I took some time, I really did. Instead of that entrepreneur just rushing out and, okay, I'm going to do it again. I took some time and I really was quiet and thought about it. And then once I decided, yes, it was what I needed to do, and started Novitas Spa Clinicals again. But knowing that it was going to look different, it was going to evolve differently. Now, guess what? There was an internet. I had a URL, one of the first in 1998. people are fascinated when they go back, marketers and see that. But I then was able to have a website, and of course there was no Facebook and all of that. But I knew it was going to evolve differently, that it was going to be sold through wholesale distributors at first, but I was going to allow it to evolve to sell directly to salons and spas, also to the consumer. We added a shopping cart on our website, and I was going to then do conferences and speak to salons and spas. And then also, as I said earlier, I put the spa word on the name Novita, so that because I knew that I was going to do a spa and get in the trenches, because so many skincare lines out there, whether in department stores or sold professionally, the owner, the people that actually develop it, never get behind a facial bed and work with the consumer. So I wanted to do that, Bob, and I knew it would evolve differently.
Two things. I know your products are on Amazon.com, but I also know people can go directly to your site to get them. So tell people where they can go to get your products. And I think you even have a page where there's some information about it or so forth.
But yes, as I just mentioned, we have a shopping cart. So you can go to www.novitasspa.com and go to the product page and order directly, and it will be shipped to you. And then last year we started working on Amazon. So our core facial essentials, which is, let me say it this way, that there is a Try Me Discovery Kit. You can only get that on our our website. And that's a great way to start with that discovery kit. And those 6 core products, it's a 3-step system, AM, PM concept, is on Amazon. Now, soon the whole line will be on Amazon. We had to repackage and prepare for that. But after the first of the year, those products, all of the line will be on Amazon. But the core 6 are there on Amazon, and the whole line is on our shopping cart.
Okay, tell us about your 90-day quick start business builder coaching program, and how people can get more information on that. And Shannon will also, of course, put that in the discussion window.
Thank you, Bob. Well, as we've been discussing, beginning is so important, and not to get to a place where you get discouraged and to, like the book, 3 feet from gold, to get so close but give up. So I'd like to be there with you and help you. So a 90-day quick start. Let's explore together. But I'd like to also invite you to contact me on my email, megan@novitasspa.com, and let's do a no charge 30-minute discovery call to see if this is something you would like to do. And then we can go from beginning to building to sustaining. And that longer program is Evolve, and that will be coming out in 2019. And there'll be 2 components of it. One is for basic business building, and the other is the spa in a box for the salon spa industry.
And Kathy, in the discussion window, I love Megan's skincare line, and she just put a link to it as well. So Megan DiMartino is the Austin-based owner of Novita Spa, medical rejuvenation clinic in the historic Georgetown Square, right outside Austin, Texas. Consistently won Best of Georgetown since 2010. The spa's website, novitaspa.com. Founder, developer of 2 revolutionary skincare lines, Glyconique and Novita Spa Clinicals. And you do a great job, and you are an absolute inspiration. You attended our Go Giver Entrepreneurs Academy, and everybody just loved you. And boy, you just brought so much value to the entire event. I just wish you so much continued
success. Thank you, Bob. Thank you.
Lives. And okay, for those of you who have not yet read John David Manson, my newest book, The Go Giver Influencer, pick that up. You can go to thegogiver.com. If you're not yet a member of our Go Givers Facebook group, Go Giver Influencers Facebook group, make sure to join us there. Shannon posts great content there every day from the book. And we still have one spot left for our next Go Giver Entrepreneurs Academy, because three people actually are going to, instead of going to the one in Orlando in January, they're going to go to the one outside or in Phoenix, Arizona. So we have one spot left. So Shannon will put the link to that to Go Giver Entrepreneurs Academy. We limit those to just 10 people because we go deep into your business. A lot of fun over 2 days. So check that out if you'd like. Okay, let's see. We will not be here next week. I don't think for the week after, bless you. So it might be after the 1st, but we'll send out, if you're on our list, make sure you go to either burg.com or thegogiver.com and join our list, because we let you know when we have shows coming up that day and who's going to be on it and so forth. Meanwhile, though, I want to wish everyone who's viewing just a happy holiday season. If you just got through with Hanukkah, I hope you had a great Hanukkah. For those who are celebrating Kwanzaa, joyous Kwanzaa to you. And of course, to those who are celebrating Christmas, I wish you a very, very Merry Christmas and wonderful 2019. Megan, again, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being one of the awesome Austins.
Thank you, Bob.
Everything you do. Until next time, everybody, this is Bob Burg wishing you a fantastic rest of the year and a great day. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.